But I've come back in the shop today to continue machining this bar on the planer. And we've been taking some reasonable size cuts off. Last couple of passes we've taken 1/16th off each time, which is good. But anyway, what I want to do now is to measure the height of the bar, in other words the thickness. So we're going to use this little micrometer. And someone was asking about that they hadn't seen anything like this before. Well, to be honest with you, this is the only one I've ever seen. But it's a Moore and Wright. Moore and Wright used to make a lot of good instruments, measuring instruments. They still do make a lot of stuff. I like the older ones. But I don't know what model. There's no number or anything like that on it, so I don't know what it is. It may have been made special by Moore and Wright for a particular company. I don't know. But anyway, we're going to measure this depth here, and I thought what I'd do is I'd just check, because I use a 2x1 block, just a piece of bright drawn mild steel, not the ideal kind of thing for measuring components and that. So let me put that T down there, and let's just grab our 1 to 2 micrometer and let's just check it and see what it actually is. That's 3 under 1 inch, 3 thousandths. That's 3 thousandths under. One and a half under. That's 1 thou under. So it's undersized. It's not perfect. We need to get some proper blocks, like 1, 2, 3 blocks or whatever. Or get some gauge plate. That'd be the best thing. I've got myself a piece of gauge plate. I can make myself my own blocks then. That's a thought, isn't it? This gauge plate comes, it's actually a tool steel, but it comes in a pretty accurate finished size, and you can harden and temper it, obviously, making tools out of. That's a thought. Right. Keep it really pressed down, it'll try and lift up. Right, where's my magnifying glass? Okay, what we've got here, 1.307. 1.307. And we've got to go to 1.093. Yeah? So we focus on taking about 200 off. That'll leave us just over 1.1. Leaves us a little bit to finish it with then. So we want another couple of 100 thousandths off this. So if that's 60 thousandths every revolution, we've got 3 revolutions. If we work on 3 revolutions first, we'll work on 3 revolutions of this, and we can check it again then. See what it's like. What you don't want to do is keep, every time you put a cut on, take a dimensional check. You need to have a good idea as to where you're going to be when you put your cut on with your tool. It's quite cool in here as well today, about 10 degrees. From the fact that I just told you it's 10 degrees and I've got my scarf on, tells you that I still haven't got my heater fixed yet, because I haven't got my parts yet. So God knows where they're coming from. Alright, let's get on. I'm actually quite pleased that it's taken a reasonable size cut off here. What we'll do is we'll just turn it in 1 full revolution, which is going to be about 60 thousandths. It's half. Ready? Let's get started, eh? almost finished that pass. I'm going to let it do another pass, same kind of setting, and then what we'll do, we'll start using the dial test indicator to set the cut, bring a bit more precision into it now. It hasn't got far to go now. Right, it's next pass now, just put another 60,000 on. take a dimension now. Let's just see where we are. Okay. That's a magnifying glass, here it is. Right, we got 1.18 1.180. Right, what we'll do then is we'll put a 40 thousandths cut on. We'll take another 40 off and we'll see where we are, and we'll just take the rest off. We'll break it down nice and easy, so if we look at taking 80 thousandths off to start with, that gets us very close to where we want to be. Right, there we are, we've got the clock set up. Ten, 20. That wasn't very good, was it? Hit the bloody thing there. 30. I'm going to leave it at 30 because I don't know where it went. When we hit the handle there. Anyway, we'll see where we are. Right. Stop. Let's just do a dimensional check. Let's see where we are. Magnifying glass. What have we got here then? 1.147. 1.147. Alright, we'll take another. Let's take a 30 off. That was 30 thousandths. Let's take another 30 thousandths off. Alright, let's get our base. Sort that out. Alright, let's put another cut. Oh, I better undo the knot, eh? And get far with the nut locked up. Just starting to rain outside as well. Might be able to hear it on the roof. 10, 20, 30. We'll leave it at that. Let's get it going. Let's take a dimension. Dust on that. How are we at? 1.01, sorry, 1.115. That's 115th thou over 1 inch. So we're 15. Don't forget that's about 2 to 3 under that block. That's probably about 13 then. So 13 and we went 093. Let's just check that. Oh, 937. 13. Yeah, 13 plus 6. 19 in it, so even 19,000's come off. Take a pass. So let's do that. Let's get the clock. Right, let's put a cut on. I want 19,000, so let's zero this. Make life easy for ourselves. Okay, 10, we'll go to 20. There you go. I'll knock it off there. last pass. See what that's like when it's all done. Alright, that was the last pass, but we need to check to see if we are on size. 1.0937 is what we're after. Okay, now where's my magnifying glass? Well, 1.093, that's about 2 thou over, so don't forget we've got about a 2 thou discrepancy in this. So it's probably a little bit bigger than that, 2 thou bigger than that. 0.95, I'm not worried about that at all. 2000s, you won't even notice that on the frame. 0.93. I'm pleased with that. I need to get, as I said to you before, I need to get a more precise block than this one. But I'm happy with that. That's pretty good. We could take 2 thou off if we wanted to, but I don't think it's worth it. I'm happy with that. Right, what we need to do now is we're going to put a chamfer on the edge, get rid of this really sharp raggy edge. So I'll just give this a sweep down first. I'll put the chamfer tool in, take this out, put the chamfer tool in, and we'll get on with that. Alright, I've set the tool up. You can see everything's close to these studs, just clear underneath here. It just fits in nice. Let's have a look at what we're going to do then. So you're just going to bring the tool back and touch the edge. Take that burr off. Touching now. There we are. I'm just going to have a look from this side. I've shifted it. I'm just going to do a little bit more. It's actually quite smooth, that was. That'll do. I'll just have a quick check and then we'll do that side. Yeah, that's alright, that is. That's okay. Alright. Let's lift it up. Right, let's go again. Just touching now. Should be okay. That's fine, that is. That's nice. Alright, there we are. So, good for size. It's been deburred. Just need to take it out now, clean everything up. And then we're ready for mark it out and cut the pieces off and all the rest of the stuff. Excellent. Alright, we've finished with that bar now, it's done. I thought what we would do is just check this with a 1 to 2 micrometer and let's just see how good it is. So let's take it over to the bench and we'll have a quick check. Alright, here we are at the bench then. We'll just hold the bar like that. In fact, we'll move it down this way because we'll see, we can see a bit better I think. Alright, I've got me 1 to 2 micrometer just here. See. So, let's have a look. Now what were we after? 1 3/32. 1 3/32. So that's 1.0937 we're after. And what did we actually get? Where's my magnifying glass? Well, we got 1.07590. 1.0935. I get that. What were we after? 0937. 0935. We're pretty close, aren't we? 0935. Let's try it in the middle. See if it's parallel. Oh, 935. Let's try it here. Oh, 925. So there's a 1/3 difference between there and there. That's good enough, I think, for what it is. That's not bad at all, that. It's a long component. We've got it pretty much where it wants to be. I'm quite happy with that. Didn't do any fine finishing passes or anything like that either. Just roughed the stuff off and that was it. Anyway, that's going to go into the frame, which is here. Let me just pivot you around a little bit so you can see the frame. You see there. Yeah. And this will go in there. I need to cut this so there's 6 pieces 2 inches long. They'll fit in there that way. I'll stiffen the frame up above the wheels. Piece in there, there and there. So I can cut that. I'll mark on the outside for the holes, drill through onto the inside. And then we'll put bolts all the way through. And then there's also some which fit in like that. Where are they going to go? There. There. Anyway, I'm quite pleased with that. That's a pretty good job that is on the planer. It's proved again that it can do the job, so I'm pleased with that now. Alright, so there we are. Once again the planer's proved that it can do the job. It did quite well actually. It's a really useful machine tool to have in the shop. I'm quite fortunate to have it here. I'm quite pleased with it. Right, I will get on with this. Cut this up. Start making the individual stretches for that. And make more progress. More parts going into the frame. Alright, well thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Excellent.